Okay, so welcome, Scorpio. Um, Many apologies, first of all. I just did a video, supposed to be all signs, and I totally left out the sign of Scorpio. So I'm not really sure how that happened, but it did. So you get your own. You get your own session. Good for you. Well done. Well done, Scorpio. So we have our candle lit. We're going to smudge a little bit, clear the energies of the day. Clear you out. So doing all that. All right. So let's see. Going to first look at what the oracle cards say for you. So then you don't have to go back and look at the other video that I did. There come general energies here for the sign of Scorpio. Okay. First up, the seer. So, the seer. That's what this is. So, things are becoming very much quite more clear for you. This is 45, so this is a 9. Right? 9 is completion of a cycle. But the seer to me would represent more about like clairvoyance and being able to see things clearly, clear vision. But I'm also in this card looking at ravens. Appear ravens, crows. They're messengers from the other side. Right? So there is that. There's a lot of magic that goes on in this card. There's a lot that is connected to ritual. But it also feels like rhythm. So I feel like you are becoming a lot like more so in the rhythm of life, in the rhythm of your own destiny, really. And I do believe that you are getting messages from the other side these days, whether it is coming through dream time or whether it is coming through, messages that are downloaded through the course of the day, or however it is that it's happening. Just be aware that if you're wondering where these thoughts are that are coming from your head, that's what that is. If you're saying things, if things are coming out of your mouth that you're not really clear where those things are coming from, they are coming from spirit. I do want to say that if you like this video, click like, share, subscribe, like all that kind of stuff as well. Right? So just going to kind of get that out of the way. So the staff. The staff is symbolic of power as well. I'm not completely clear with this death yet. So I'm just going to look up a couple of things here. So for the seer, it says the essence of this card says that the seer represents the capacity to reach beyond the obvious details of life into the hidden realms where information is available to those with a discernment to perceive it, which is just what I just said, right? This symbol represents psychic perception, intuition, the capacity to know something without prior exposure. Always seeking the truth, reading between the lines and understanding what is not being said. So you're being asked to trust your intuition right now. And the medicine of this card says that it is challenging you to get out of denial and begin telling yourself the truth about your situation. So where's 51? 51, the essence of the staff says the symbol, this is a symbol of authority, right? The staff, power. Wait, I think that I said that. It holds the power to temper extremes. The staff helps you define the right course of action in the way of the middle. And aids you to maintain your balance after you begin walking in that direction. Moses carried a serpent staff through the desert, and with it he could summon the power of nature to heal or call plagues. The staff reminds you of the impermanence of all things and that your authority must come from your deep longing to serve. So, yes. It says you're caught in the delicate balance between opposing forces, between masculine and feminine, between action and non-action. Use this to your advantage. There can be no day without night, no low without high, no wrong without right. This is the time to take corrective action, beginning with your beliefs about the needs to be fixed or repaired. Beginning with your beliefs about what needs to be fixed or repaired. Let destiny take its course, nudging it slightly along. Interesting. The sun, which is clarity, healing. And it does mean that like there are better things coming towards you. It's like if you're following this path, right? If you're participating in life in ways of like knowing the truth about things and you're honoring this truth, if you are balancing yourself, if you're tempering your attitude, if you're tempering your life, right, between like masculine and feminine, between walking the middle path, as they say, right? It's like you are going to be led in a really good direction and things will work out for you in a really good way. So the sun does represent like clarity, it does represent healing. So all of those things are coming your way. So good for you, Scorpio. So Scorpio, this is positive karma showing up for you. Right? This rune represents dice cup, right? It does talk about taking chances, taking risks, right? This can be a good time for that. So positive karma, also things related to healing. This is a completion of a cycle on a karmic level as well. So that's interesting. This rune does represent the sun, by the way. So, and you are now in the process of reaping the rewards for your hard labor. This rune does represent harvest. It represents unlocking your potential, right? So by taking risks, and we're not necessarily talking about like gambling, but it is talking about taking a risk, going after whatever it is that you're trying to do, right? And what is this hanging around in the way? Let's see. All right. Something is over there that's in the way. I'm not sure what that is. Anyway, we'll see. So these three runes represent the soil that you're planting. This is the seed that you're planting, which is interesting because the runes that I pulled earlier for the other session, this rune come up as well, right? And it is a rune that represents the status quo. It represents a sense of stability, but it's coming up here reverse. So it does represent things that you don't know about, and so it is about we're talking about taking a chance here, taking a leap of faith, right? We're talking about starting a new cycle. We're talking about shaking things up, right? So even though this rune is about wisdom, right, or not so much like wisdom, but it represents Odin, right? Odin was the first god, and it represents all the gods sitting up on Mount Olympus, eating off their plates of gold, right? Everything was status quo, right? Like just kind of chilling out, doing that, right? But that also is a thing that represents a time period of like being like stagnancy, stuck, right? So this is about things becoming unstuck, right? It's like you're moving in a different direction. You're taking these choices here, right? You're taking these chances on getting out of a rut, right? And by doing that, you're having more clarity about your life, right? And being able to reap rewards for these seeds that you've been in the process of planting here. So that's good. This is the trunk of the tree. This is Bracana. Bracana represents the goddess who has no children. It would talk about your creative energy. It talks about nurturing the self, can be about like nurturing other people. Sometimes it is it can come up if you're looking to like adopt or take on like other people's children, things like that, right? Taking care of things that don't necessarily belong to you, right? And but it is about creativity, right? It is about nurturing. So whether you're nurturing yourself, whether you are helping to nurture other people, right? It's like you're going out of your way and good things are happening here. So this is funny. This is Hagalaz, and it represents disruption of the energies, right? So as we were saying, right, this rune represents the gods and goddesses like sitting up on Mount Olympus, right? And being stuck in their pattern, right? It's like they did all the work to get to be in this place where they're sitting up on Mount Olympus and eating off these plates of gold and everything like that, sitting there chilling, having a good time. But that's the completion of that story for them, right? So with the runes, there are 3 lines. There are 24 runes, 8 lines, eight runes, 8 runes, and 8 runes. So this rune is the 8th rune of the first line. This is the first rune of the second line. And this is the beginning of karma. This represents past. It's about the past falling away, really, is what it is. And so it's disruption, right? In the tarot, it would be the tower, right? But it's about getting rid of things that no longer work for you and clearing away those things, right? Because you're in this creative energy. You're bringing out new things, right? So if you're bringing out new things, right? If you're getting out of the rut, the past is no longer here, right? This is a period about ascension. This is a period where you're growing things. There's a what do they call that? I feel like it has to do with this thing about like rewriting your script, right? It's like there is a story and you're like retelling it in a better way that works for you, right? But it's like when the city, when you have this city and it gets built up, right? And then everything crumbles down and then the earth grows over it, right? And there's new growth around these things, and it's like you're growing out of all of these things, and it's like the past is no longer visible because you're only moving forward. So these next runes represent the fruit, right? So this rune represents the present, right? And so we have the rune of the past, We have the rune of the present now. This rune it's called standstill, and to me, in this particular case, it has to do with being mindful, right? This rune is called like it represents about signals like messages from spirit, right? So knowing that your ancestors are giving you messages, right? So it's being mindful, right? Even though there is this disruption, even though there is this kind of tearing away, you're in this whole creative path here, right? They are talking about taking time out in order to be aware of the messages that are coming from spirit, right? Because we are talking about being clairvoyant, we are talking about being a seer, we are talking about kind of balancing your energy, right? So sometimes when you're trying to balance your energy, you have to take time out for a few and kind of listen to your intuition, listen for messages. And then this is an outcome. This is free flowing emotion, right? And this rune represents a water spigot. So what it's telling you is that there is going to be joy coming. There is going to be free flowing emotion. There is going to be more of a bigger sense of gratitude coming down the pike here, right? Because water is about your emotions, right? And that's what this final rune is about. So, so what this says to me is, right, that things have probably been a little bit stuck. You have this rune here that does talk about things being in a kind of being in a little bit of a rut here, right? But it's like you're completing your karma around all of this stuff, and so it's like you're planting these like new seeds around here. You're kind of in this growth cycle, but it feels to me like it's been kind of, I don't know if I want to call it like push and pull kind of situation, or if you've been busy like taking care of other people, it's like the power is shifting here, right? And it's kind of like claiming your own power, claiming your own energy, claiming your own emotions, right? Because that's what the oracle cards were talking about as well, right? Like owning your own power, but knowing that power also comes from spirit, right? It does come from your ancestors. And so it is about, this could be a big time period about like listening to them, but like, I feel like there's a lot of energy that is like bursting forth here, like trying to burst forth out of like your heart. So you may find yourself like kind of crying for no reason, or thinking that it's no reason. You may know why, but there's a free flow of emotion sitting here as an outcome. So I would say, as somebody that is an empath, I am an empath, right? And I would say that it can be wise, wise counsel, as they say, to be aware of what is yours and what is somebody else's, right? And yeah, so take care of yourself with that, Scorpio. So I'm gonna pull a couple of cards and kind of see what it is that wants to show up here for you. So what's happening for Scorpio today? Happening for Scorpio. What's happening for Scorpio? Show us what's happening for Scorpio. Show us what's happening for Scorpio. All right, Scorpio. So you're starting a new cycle around your life. You do have the Fool. right? Fool is, and we did talk about that, right, earlier. It did come up. The Fool card talks about like starting a new cycle, taking a leap of faith. Right? So this, you do have this like Seven of Cups here, right? Seven of Cups is, in this particular deck, it's called debauchery, right? It is ruled by Venus in Scorpio. So we are looking at things that have to do with extreme. Scorpio can be like, what do they call it? Like escapism, like addiction, all that stuff. All that stuff is ruled by the sign of Scorpio, right? So with this card, it is about, and it's not so much about being like stuck in motion, but it can be like kind of caught up in like, I want this or I want that, or I want this or I want that, right? But right, so this is being interesting to me, because on one hand you have the Seven of Cups, on the Queen, on the other hand you have the Princess of Cups, Eight of Cups, right? So to me, this is talking about how you can be in this whole period of your life where you're trying to daydream about things and whatever, right? But it feels to me like it has to do with how things are being like locked up inside, right? And so I was talking to a friend of mine earlier who is a Scorpio, and you know, Scorpios are in their shell, right? And the same as Cancer. They're in the shell, which is the thing about protection. It is about being kind of like cut off from the outside world and stuff. And so this is a thing where you can very much be kind of like living in your own living in your own head, right? But caught up in this big kind of like emotional scenario running around here, right? And so, but you are in this process here of like coming out of your shell here as well, like literally. Right? You have this turtle here, right? And this is kind of about creative energy. And so it's like, you know, they say that like, you know, secrets, lies, they fester in the dark and they get cleared up in the light, right? So it's like, this to me makes me feel like you're coming out of the shadows. You're stepping out into the light. You're stepping out into your own path, right? And so there's a whole thing that happens here that's related to like cleansing of your energies and letting go of things that are no longer appropriate for you, things like that. Spirit is guiding you. You have the High Priestess here. The High Priestess is a card that, to me, represents the goddess. There can be a lot of stuff that goes on here around, you know, working to get to be where it is that you want to get to, like, especially if you're looking for things that have to do with a house or a new relationship, right? But this is about taking care of yourself emotionally first and foremost. So so you have this like Knight of Disc here, right? The Knight of Disc is technically an earth sign person, but it would talk about how you're looking to the future, or you could very well be obsessed around whoever this individual is, right? Or trying to make something with them anyway, right? But whether you know this person or not, you may not necessarily know them, because spirit is bringing in a lot of this information here, and it is about new emotional beginnings that are happening connected to whoever this person is. So you may very well be a Scorpio, water sign, whatever, and technically they do better with other water signs, or so I've heard anyway, but this is an earth sign showing up here. And so you are meeting somebody who, they may not necessarily be an earth sign, but they are somebody who is helping you to be grounded in your emotions. So to me, it's like, it just feels like it's very interesting because it feels to me like you've been in this place here about like spinning your wheels, spinning your wheels, spinning your wheels, and then finally it's like you're getting some sort of attraction. And the thing that's interesting about this, the spinning of the wheels, is that when the car is stuck, I get stuck in the mud, right? But it's spinning its tires, and it's getting rid of all of this mud and muck out the back, right? So to me, there is this feeling that comes up when I'm watching psychically with these cards here, is that um, you may feel like you're spinning, right? Spinning the wheels, right? But you're also doing a lot of like clearing, a lot of cleansing. So you may feel like you're not getting anywhere, but there is work being done, right? Whether you are aware of it or not. It may be work that is being done that you don't really consider it work, right? But things are happening, right? There are big choices that have to get made here. There are trust issues going on. And like I said, there can be like somebody new coming in around you, right? Helping you to be grounded, but you're sitting here having these like trust issues, right? But Spirit is saying like to trust, right? To trust your own self, right? And I do think that we said like to thine own self be true. Trusting your own self, right? There has been a lot of interference here, right? Around other relationships, right? It's like, and part of that trust, part of that interference has been your trust issue. So it's like if you haven't been able to get someplace that you want to get to, right? It is because of the past, right? And that's what we're talking about with the runes, right? Is that the past has been in your way, and now it's time to clear that out, right? Time to let go of the past. This is a time period about ascension. It is about like lifting yourself up and letting go of these people, letting go. Spirit talks about like letting go of these like tensions in your life, right? People who create tension, and letting go of situations that create tension for you, right? And because this is telling you that you haven't really been seeing things clearly because you've been looking at things through the lens of the past, right? Looking at things through the lens of other relationships, other situations, and things like that. So that's why they're talking about with the runes, right? That's why they're talking about taking time out, slowing down, taking a beat, right? Just slow down. Breathe, Scorpio. Breathe. Breathe. All the way in. Let's clear your energy for a minute. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, Scorpio. Breathe out. There you go. Feel a little better? I always tell my friends, like, find time to laugh. Right? Things out here trying to manifest for you. You've been dealing with a lot of emotional stuff, right? And it's like, kind of living out in your head and just kind of like, oh, I wish I could have this, wish I could have that, wish I could have this, wish I could have that, right? So the Seven of Cups does talk about like thinking about one thing that you want to manifest, right? You can have a lot of different things, but this is talking about in a lot of ways like manifesting one thing, focusing around yourself, focusing around your own emotions, and by looking at like your own emotions, right, then you get to decide, right, like, well, okay, there are all of these things going on around my head, there are all of these like potential kind of things going on around here, and it's like you're sitting there operating as an empath, Scorpio, and it's like, is this like my stuff? Is this their stuff? Is this my stuff? Is this their stuff? Like, what do I really want? Never mind what they want. What do I want in my life? And it's like, I think there's been a lot of kind of confusion that has gone on around here. And so now there's a lot of like clearing things out, and things are becoming more, Spirit says that things are becoming more serious for you. they're becoming more serious because reality is setting in, and it's kind of interesting. This guy's ruled by the sign of Taurus, and they're talking to me about trying to take the bull by the horns and say, well, you know, like I really want this, and I'm not like wrestling with things anymore. I'm not wrestling with these idiots. I'm not wrestling with those people. Like I want what I want, and it's about when you know what you want and you're clear emotionally, mentally about what it is that you want, then the interference goes away, and you know what's yours, you know what's theirs, and things are sitting here that are trying to manifest for you. I feel like you've been going through a lot of changes since your birthday because they're being brought to November of last year. So I do think that there's been like a lot of things you've been trying to manifest and work on and clear things out, and a lot of healing being done since like last year around the time period of your birthday, right? But it feels to me like during that time period between November and now, it's like you have been becoming more clear about who you are and what it is that you want, and you've been getting ready to take off and you know, spread your wings, things like that. And so I think that you may have started seeing like things starting to move since the second week of January, but between now and March, it does feel like things are becoming more like manifest for you. And so I think that there is going to be more of a sense of stability by the time we get into like March, April time period here. So it's like it's not so much that you're not going to have things until it's not like you're not going to have things until like Taurus time period, but I do think that when we get into Taurus time period, they whatever it is that you have been waiting for, it would be here already, and but it's like becoming comfortable with those things and things becoming more stable. So you know, it's kind of like I tell people, if you're looking for this relationship, it would show like stability around that thing come like Taurus time period. But it doesn't mean the relationship is starting then. It means that you would already have been in that relationship, and it means that um and it means that like that relationship would become like more stable by the time we get into like March, April time period. So that's kind of like what that is like talking about. So when you're looking for a relationship, when you're looking to the future here, as far as like your work, your money, finances, things like that is concerned, you just have to be clear about what it is that you want. You are going to have to take a chance, right? Because I feel like for some of you, it's like I feel like there is another job here. I feel like there is like something new. I just get this feeling here. There's something new, right? You have the Ace of Cups, which is new emotional beginnings. You have the Fool card, which is starting a new cycle, being open to all possibilities, right? You have these cards here about creation, right? And I just feel like there is something here that you are trying to manifest, but it's almost like you're terrified to receive it. So it's one of those things that I would say, like if you had the perfect relationship that was being presented to you, right? Or you had the perfect job that was being presented to you, right? Like what will you do with that? Like, do you know what I mean? It's like you're gonna have to own what it is that you want. Right? You can't be keeping it over there. You can't look at it and it's like this isn't even about having a cake and eating it too. It's like looking at the cake outside the window and being like, oh, I want that, I want that, I want that. And it's like, oh, it's mine, right? Well, you have to bring it in, right? Bring your groceries in. So it's time to start like it's time to stop like longing for something and like open your heart and receive. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Thank you for joining me. And again, sorry that I missed you on the last reading, but we got to spend a little bit more time here for you. So, you know, good luck with all of that. see the card. I should have another card for that one. Well, we'll see what it is. I think it's that one. Yeah. Using two different decks. So we'll see. All right. Have fun. Have some good deep breaths. And see you next time. Blessed be.